Welcome back, everybody. Today is the second week of our HTML training, and we will revise what we have covered last week. Maybe I think you may remind me, what did we cover last week? Do you remember, guys? Maybe I can give you some hint. We talked about web development, introduction to web development, like front end, back end, how the internet works, client, server, HTTP protocol, yeah, request, response, all those things. First, we talk about those and also front end technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and then back end technologies like Node, Python, Java, something like that. And then after that, we install VS Code, if you remember. Yeah, VS Code from VS Code website. I think that's not just this is enough, and it will take me to VS Code. Oh, maybe it's a wrong link. VS Code, please. And then we installed VS Code. VS Code allow us to write code. It could be HTML code, CSS, JavaScript, Python. Almost it supports most of the programming languages, and it's free. You just download it and make use of it. And it was developed by Microsoft, yeah? So it's easy to download and use it. That is what we learned. And then we write a couple of HTML code. But before that, as you can see, HTML. What is HTML means?
It means hypertext markup, and I forgot about the L.
Language.
Language. Thank you.
Great. Hypertext markup language. Yes. So what does that actually mean when we say hypertext? Yeah. Actually, a text linked to other resources, other text. And then markup. What does that mark means actually? We mark it to be like, if you see here, there is some tag, H1. When we mark it like this, using a tag, an HTML tag, opening tag and closing tag, that means we are making this to be a title, to be bigger. So it's a markup language. Though this language allows us to mark it, to be a title, to make it a title, and to make it a paragraph, or to make it a section. Okay, so the purpose of HTML, as you can see, is just to make the skeleton of our website. It's the same as this skeleton, as you can see. It just helps us to create the skeleton of the website. And using just HTML, your website is boring. It's just a dull. It's not just amazing. It's just gray. Then you use CSS, cascading style sheet, to make it look good. Yeah. So as you can see, this gentleman, he looks like a business person. He's not talking, but you know, somehow he looks really good. No one knows if he is a good person or not, as you can see. But when you add JavaScript, actually the JavaScript drive it crazy, as you can see now. This person is like crazy. As someone have a couple of stimulants, coffee or whatsoever, yeah? It's all, this example is a really good one to remember. So to make your website really good, at least you need 3 of them: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In this training, we will learn HTML and CSS together. By the end, you may subscribe to our JavaScript lesson, and that will take you to somewhere. Actually, you will be almost like a developer by the end of the JavaScript training. But even after the end of this training, you will be able to develop a static website for a friend or for yourself or for a family. Okay, that is so. What's the requirement to work on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Actually, what you need is a very good motivation. Yeah, and I believe you have all the motivation, and that's why you are here. And the computer you should have, and you have the computer by now, and then the internet, because you need to install sometimes some softwares or maybe to search information, and that's all. And web development, we've been talking about the different web development, front end, back end. Yeah, imagine the front end is this, the cafeteria area, the place where you sit, and all the tables, the chairs, and the things you touch are the front end part. And the waiters come to you and start communicating and linking you to the back end, the kitchen area. Now, as you can see that there is some two categories, the kitchen area and the cafeteria area, the place where you sit, eat, and drink. Yeah, you can imagine that the waitress is a kind of a protocol, a communication protocol that takes information from you as a client to the backend, to the guys, the cooks who are doing the food, who are making the food. Does it make sense? Did you manage to connect what we talked? Yeah? Is it, does it sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Then, because for now, this information is not really very important to learn, but at some point, especially when you are really becoming a developer, the point where like, talking about is really very important, because you have the very big understanding, this the big picture of what's happening. Yeah. Let's move on. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Yes, this is the front end area, and you may say, you may take this as in the waitress. Yes, going left and right just to make you feel good. Yes, taking your information to the back end, to the guys who are making the food. And yeah, from the database, they just scoop some ingredients from here, from the database, and they just make something ready for you, and the waitress bring it the food and put it to the table. Yes, and it's time for you to enjoy your food. Great. Oh yeah, then if you have a skill both in front end and back end, you will be a full stack developer. So that means you will be able to develop an application that looks like almost Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. So you have the skill and the knowledge to build everything. The part in the client side, the front end, and also the back end. Okay, so now let me send you to the breakout room and discuss about what are the parts of a website. If you imagine a website, what are the most parts of a website, and discuss about the website parts. Yeah, I will get you back after just 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes are enough for you to discuss about that. Let's create the breakout room, and we have how many people? So we need 5 rooms. Okay, so who would like to share? Group 1, what did you discuss?
Uh, was the group one?
Yeah, there is a group 1, or yeah, there was, if you have noticed, there was, but you can go, just it doesn't matter. Then I
Okay,
go.
so my team, we discussed the header,
Okay.
the footer, the logo, the menu, the contents. And we also discussed also the search parts of the website. And what again, Sarah? The links, right?
What that word? What was that word?
Links to maybe if there is a link on the website to another, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what we discussed.
Okay, good. Yeah, now you came up with most of the parts of the website, at least some of. That is great. Any other group who would like to add more parts of the a website?
Our group discussed the different uses for websites, like you can use it for static information. You can use it for example, a block of flats who can share information within each other and notices, and you can have e-stores. You can use websites for that and so on. Yeah, all kinds of websites.
Yes, yes, that's good. But still, we should really focus on something. What are the parts? Because we are about to build the parts, yeah? That parts will be used to display information anyway, in one way or the other. Of course, if it's a button, that button is going to be clicked, and if it's an image or a video, it's a content. Someone mentioned like the content. Actually, the content is in any way, it would be a video or a text or an image, or those are information or content. Yeah. Okay, so it's still parts of a website. Anyone who would like to add more on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So some more complicated websites, they have interactive parts. So you can register to be a user. You can also send a message, or you can also use the chat. So some websites do have that, but they are more complicated ones.
Yes. Yeah, but you're right. When it comes to function, that's more of actually now it's functionality. But if you look at that, all the feature remain the same. It's going to be a text. You send a text. It may have a button to send the text, right?
Yeah.
It has some user interface. On that user interface, you have the chance to interact. But since now we are focusing on a front end, the part we can see and touch. So what are the parts actually that? So as you said, you guys, the header, for instance, let's take this website. By the way, this is the website you are going to develop for a learning purpose from the beginning to the end. This is the one we developed in the previous group. So as you can see now, this website, what do you see at the top? The purple background.
But you mean the top? The
Yeah,
top is
at
the
the top,
header.
yes.
The top is the header.
Yes, so this, as you can see, it has a very big header. So inside the header, it has some kind of a title. So, and then there's some navigation, or you may call it a menu. So this kind of features are very common in many websites, huh? Yeah. And if we go down also, it has some kind of similarity with the header, and it has some information, some copyright, or it may have some addresses, extra information if you have, and external links or social links. The LinkedIn, this goes to my GitHub. This goes to my GitHub account and LinkedIn and Twitter. So this is also common, right? Social links. Of course, if you are a person who posts your picture on Instagram, then you can put your Instagram here, and all your social links usually goes to here. Okay, another part leaves, and if you see also it has some section This part is a kind of a section, an introduction section, and an introduction to HTML, and some, yeah, different section. Have you seen it? A section of different part, yeah? A website may, it's not a must, okay? But it may have some section, even, yeah, maybe, you know, I like to talk about the thing I do. I may have a podcast, so maybe you can also have a podcast. Oh, this test recording to embed this audio on HTML, and it's going to be the first audio. So it's a sample audio I recorded, so you can add many audio materials. And also, as you can see, there's a video material here. A video is also content. You can play it. Hello, this is another assignment related to dog. As you can see, this application has some text at the top, and it displays a country. And the country has a flag, the name of the country, capital city, population, and language. Imagine you've been at home, but we don't have to watch that. The point here is we can embed videos, yeah, because video is also one content, and even nowadays people tend to watch something instead of reading, so we have to have also a video. And sometimes we may present our data in a form of in a form of what? What do you see? Table, yeah. So these are some kind of a common parts of a website. But let's also click other part. And I forgot also to tell you, a form, we handle data from users, you know, for application form, for signing, or maybe for logins. It's common to handle users' data. We fill users' data. Yeah, we apply. And let's see here, what do we have? Something different? Nothing different here. Maybe let's see, the rest will be similar. As you can see, we didn't talk about images. Yeah, image also part of a website. Yeah, and buttons. You click, yeah, so maybe if I click this, it may take, I think it's not linked anywhere, but anyway, I think you got the idea. I think I also put somewhere what are the parts of a website. Maybe parts of a website. As you can see, website logo, header banner, navigation bar or menu bar, carousel. Carousel is something you click and like it gives you different images. And the sections, form, we have seen a form, buttons. It could be different buttons to edit or maybe to open something. So the purpose of the button could be different. Images, videos, audios, it could be different audios. It could be news, or it could be podcast, it could be music, right? So different audio materials, or maybe also audio books. Social links, yeah, there are lots of social links. It could be Facebook, Twitter, and other social links. And at the end, we have a footer. Now, before we go to the VS Code and start coding, what do you think? Do you have the very big picture of a website?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the difference we see from website to website is actually the layout. So they may present it differently. Some present it in a more elegant way or a simplistic way, and some in a complex and a very aesthetic way also. It depends on the presentation. That is the role of CSS and also the role of the design skill of the person, you know. The more design skill, and if you have a good aesthetic skill, then that is actually a good asset when it comes to web development. So now let's move on to VS Code. VS Code, and then we will open. We got to here, and actually, this is our folder, right? HTML, CSS, Spring. Yep, last week, if you remember, we have created this week 1, but just let's forget about that and let's start another week 2, and we can also revise what we learned in week 1 there. At the same time, I left a note here. What are we going to talk about today? What's HTML? We talked about it already. And then HTML attribute, we will talk about it. HTML elements, attributes, head, body, footer, header. I think it's really like better to put this in order. So even I think the body comes, well, it's lots of, and then header and the main, actually. The main is somehow here. Good. So we will talk about these topics. You don't have to remember now. We will see them step by step. So we are in week 2 now. Let's create a file. What's the name of the file going to be? Tell me, guys. Index.html. Most of the time we call it index.html. Yeah. And then
your screen is so big. Is it possible to? It's like I cannot cascade mine to follow.
Big. What do you mean big?
It has covered my whole screen.
Okay. So how do I?
Because last week I could cascade my
so let me, we will make, yeah, let's go first, okay?
okay.
Yeah, we will solve that. But just most of the time we call the file name index.html, but for now, just since we are using this file for revision, we can call it just revision, you know, because this is just to revise. And then how do we open it? You click this one. For you, you might have this, the live server. Last time I have a problem, but it's the live server is here already for me. I can click this one. If I click live server, it is opened here. Then let's take it to the other side this way. And if I put this one this way, then I can write over here. Okay, how about now? Is it okay? Can you see it now in this way? Someone complained. I'm asking you, is it okay now?
I don't know, but
Do you see my screen?
yeah, I see your screen, but I want to follow with mine. So okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so now let's start by writing H1, and I call it web development, or maybe I can say welcome to web development. Welcome to web development. This is what I wrote. And if you click refresh, it's here. Yeah, go right. And if you remember also, we wrote the p tag, the p tag, p, and then we can write, I may say, let's learn HTML and CSS. and make beautiful website. The more I write, the more I will tire you, because some people might have a problem to write much for some reason. Now I have this, let me change it. Where is it? Yeah, this has to be changed here to HTML. You don't have to, yours is already, I know it's HTML. Since I'm using different program, it changes in my case. Let me get it back to the, yes. Yeah, so do you have this now already? If you don't, do you have it? So
Yeah.
easy, right? Great. But guys, this is not how we write HTML, okay? Let's just take this out. We need this declaration at the top, this part. We have to write this. This means actually, we call it declaration. This is the part the browser reads first. It reads it first and understand that this file is an HTML file. And this is a means or a way to tell the browser that this is an HTML file. So you should have this at the very beginning all the time. Yeah, all the time. So we call it declaration. So even you don't have to really remember it, how you write it, you copy and make it part of your document. But it starts with less than, exclamation, doc type, HTML, you close it. Then after that, we write HTML and we close it. And this is actually the parent of all. What does that mean? The parent of all. Everything should be inside this all the time. So whenever you write an HTML document, you should follow this structure. And it's so easy. Everything goes inside HTML because we're talking about HTML, because we are writing HTML. Yes, great. And this HTML will have only 2 children. Only 2 children. Okay, you may say there is like a parent and a child in programming also. Yes, there is. Yeah, it's just a fancy name. But you can say root also. You may call this the root element. The root element is the HTML or the parent element. And then what are those children? The head. And what's the other children? The body. Yes. It's beautiful, right? Yes. We just gave birth to 2 children right away. Yes, like that. All the time. This is what you need. No more. Immediate, but the thing is immediate children. Then this guy by itself, the head, will have its own children. For instance, the title. What? I can say HTML is awesome. So where is it going? Now let's see and what's happening actually. And if we refresh this, have you seen here if you hover? HTML is awesome. So the title is actually whatever you see, for instance, the Visual Studio Code has Visual Studio Code something. This has been written actually so at the title part. Yeah. How about if I change it to something else? This will change, right? Yeah. So this is what you need. And then what can go inside the body? You just tell me, guys, now. What can go inside the body?
content.
Yes, anything you want to display on your website, anything you want to display on website. Which part? That means all this, the viewport is actually the body part. All this is the body part. Do you see my pointer? I hope so. So this is anything. Hey, put anything, whatever you want, like this, like jibber jabber text. Yep, but this is not how you just randomly put your thing like that, you know? We have to use HTML syntax or tag. For instance, H1. Now I can say, welcome to web development, or HTML and CSS. For me, when I say HTML and CSS, it is so poor for me. I don't know. I can say it just welcome to web development. I feel good when I say that. Yep. Because you are not just HTML and CSS developer, you will be a developer. Welcome to web development. Now, as you can see, we have a kind of a title, yeah? If we want, we can also create subtitle. Now, since we have this head, since we have this wrapper title, actually our live server is actually updating itself right away. Now let's add maybe, but if you remember, I think before even I add something, if you remember when we were discussing about parts of a website, and even we can look at this website, if you look at it, it has a kind of a header, and at the top, it has a kind of a footer, yeah? Let's keep creating that now. So I can say header, and then I can put this inside here. So don't get confused with the head and header. Head is something that is not going to be displayed inside the website, but it allows us to add some script style and some meta tags. So don't think about the head part now, but just remember it exists there. Okay, header. Then there is also actually a tag called main. Okay, so the main part of, then I can say the main section or part of the website. And I may say maybe this, the header part. Yeah. Okay, now let's take footer. And then I can add copyright 2021. As you can see now, it has some kind of skeleton, right? We managed to make the skeleton. As you can see, we have the header, even though it doesn't have any color. We have the main part, even though it has a very tiny content, you know. We add the content later. We can use lorem ipsum and just populate it. And we have the footer. Great. Yeah. Then actually, now, I think first I have to slow down and ask you, are you okay with this skeleton? Yeah?
I have a quick question, actually.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Is it important that it goes like in this hierarchy, that everything is not like one by one, but something is like moved to the side? So you put just space, or?
Yeah, good. All this, like now the HTML we are learning, we call it HTML5. Before HTML5, there was no the so-called header HTML tag. There was no main. There was no footer. What we had was div. So div allow us to create just different compartment, like just section. But now, as you can see, it says header. Whenever you hear the word header, it has some semantic meaning, right? Something related to the top, right? And whenever we say also footer, it has also some semantic meaning, semantic definition, something related to the bottom of something. In this case, the website.
Yeah. I do understand that.
Yes,
My question was actually
it's
a
for
bit
everybody.
about different things.
Yes, yeah, I'm coming. So this is for everybody. It's not only for you. So because you asked, and these kind of things are very important. The hierarchy is, of course, very important. The footer can't go to the top. Yeah, we should put it at the bottom. And also this hierarchy especially is very good for blind people, for a screen reader. The screen readers are actually programmed based on the semantic definition in the hierarchy of each HTML tags. So for instance, for this header, for the screen reader, yeah, the screen reader inform for the blind people just you as if, I mean, the cursor or the pointer is in the header part. So it's like they give a kind of a visual sense, you know? So it has some semantic meaning and it's good for the blind people for accessibility purpose and also for search engine optimization. Search engine optimization means whenever you search the website, it comes first. And if not first actually, at least if it comes to the first page of the Google, that is actually like a breakthrough because there are lots of things already there and it's really hard to bring it at the first, like the first three. And if your website doesn't show up when it is searched, then actually it means you don't have a website. It's almost the same as you don't have a website. Even though you have it, but it's not showing up. Most of the time, 80 or 75% of users just change different keywords instead of going to the next result of Google search. Yeah, you may try to ask yourself, how often do you go to the second? Instead, you just change a keyword one after another, and you just change keywords and search. But as now, since you're a developer, remember that. Go to the next page and check all the results because it might be hidden there, the information you are looking for. So it really helps for search engine optimization, for accessibility for blind people. So this hierarchy are very important. Yeah. Okay, so when you close it like this, what you see is just one. So that means the HTML is the parent for all. And let's open this. And if you see that, the HTML has two children, the head and the body. And inside the head, for the time being, now we have the title, but we can add actually more elements. Yeah. Then inside the body, we have different. It is not only this. Inside the header, we can even wrap it in a div and put this information inside the div if we want. So a div doesn't have any semantic meaning. Yeah, you can use it anywhere. Now, maybe I think for Olga, it's a very good question. Div, it doesn't have any hierarchy. It's neutral. It doesn't have any semantic meaning. It can be at the header, or it can be at the footer, or it can be inside a button. But if you put the header at the footer, oh, it's like a disaster. Yeah. From a developer point of view to communicate with other developers, and also for the search engine and for the screen reader, it's just a mess. Yeah, because those tags do have already their own kind of identifier, as in a developer or for a screen reader. Yeah, now at the meantime we saw also div. As in, now let's create here different section inside the main div. Now I'm interested to create h1 and why it's not, I call it introduction maybe. Yeah, as you can, I have an introduction, but let me remove this. I don't need this anymore. The introduction, okay, introduction about what? Maybe I can even create another div here because I want the information to be like wrapped in some kind of box. So as you can see, you can create as much div as you want based on your layout. What kind of layout do you want? What kind of background color do you want? That then I want to add paragraph, because I don't like to just throw my text. Instead, I want it to be inside a paragraph. And then let's generate lorem ipsum, right? Lorem and tab. Yeah, now I have this, but I want it to be more text. If I want to generate more text, maybe I can multiply lorem by some 3 times, and again tab. Yeah, now I generated some placeholder text. You know why we need this text as a placeholder? As a developer, you may not have the content at hand. Instead of waiting for your client without doing anything, you should do something, okay? So you have to have some dummy data, some fake data, and then when you get the data, you replace. Yeah, that's the purpose of this lorem ipsum, a text that doesn't have any meaning for the moment, okay? Great, so we managed to create this compartment or this section, or maybe we can call introduction to HTML section, yeah? Because we're talking about, well, web development. Then even instead of just saying welcome, that's too old, because in the 90s or maybe in the beginning of the 20s, every website was saying welcome, welcome, welcome. No, it's not anymore saying, right? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. If you are too young, maybe you don't remember that, but it's not really far. Okay. So now we have introduction to HTML. Now, as you can see, we are creating some kind of pattern, copy and paste. And then you change the to CSS. And then this lorem ipsum, we can generate it again, because just to make it a bit different than before, every time when you generate, it's a bit different, by the way. Okay, let's see. Really, it's the same actually. The last in the Swiss at, yeah, actually it's a bit different. Who cares if it's the same or different? We know for the time being, we just need something to put, right? Okay, let's put at least the 3 core technologies for web development. So what's the next? Tell me.
JavaScript.
Of course, yes. And again, we can change this text for variety, learn, and even we can just change it to 5 and a bit bigger. Yeah, so our website at the time being looks like this. So it's growing somehow. Yep. But it was just a repetition. We didn't do much. Yeah, so before that, before we go to the break, let's do now, maybe how about if we want to navigation that get us to here and here. So navigation, how do we create a navigation? I will show you a very easy way. First, do you remember UL, guys? An ordered list. Inside, we may have list, then we can call it HTML, and then the second list, oh no, don't do that, it's not a capital. For some list, CSS, and the second list, JavaScript. Now the point is whenever we click this, it should take us to here, because now the information is small, but you never know. But how about if we had actually quite a lot of information, if we have also another paragraph, because we have just only one paragraph, and the lorem, and if we have 5, and in the second also, maybe we can also create. Have you seen I'm suffering like this? It's not good. Yeah? So we have to adjust. I want to take you here, settings, and you come here, and then word wrap. Word wrap. Wrap. Yes, word wrap on. Yeah, and then I think after this, it will be wrapped, and then I don't have to like scroll left and right. It's easy to see where it starts and where it ends. So we can add also additional p and lorem times 3. And now if you see, we may have a very big content here. So scrolling, it will not be easy, right? The more information you have, it would be hard to scroll, right? So you have to have some button to go down or to go up. Yeah. Okay, at least you agree with that. That's great.
Sorry, I missed what you did in the settings with word wrap.
Yes. Without the word wrap, this text we are like in one line, and it was long, and I have to scroll horizontally. So to avoid that, you go to here. Do you have this? Do you see this part?
Yes.
Great. Then you click here, you come to the settings, and right here, word, and then hyphen wrap. Then after a while, it comes word wrap. Then change it to on. That's what you do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great. And now we have this. Before we go to the break, we have to have a link here. How do we make a link, guys? Do you remember how to make a link last week? I will show you this, how we make a link. What was the letter? A. This is how you make. So by the way, you just write A and tab. But I don't show you the lazy way of doing. So let's write it A, and then we close the. Then you write the link here, and then we learned that. Do you remember attribute? href. The name of the attribute is href. Now let's talk about href. So this attribute take us to somewhere. For instance, I can link it to here. Yeah. So that if you see now, our website should have a link here, or click here is much better. Click here. Yeah. If I click it here, as you can see, it opened on top of our website, and we don't like that to happen. Instead, we want it to open it in a separate tab, a different tab. So what did we use? Another attribute, target and underscore blank. That means go to a blank tab. You can associate with that. Go to a blank tab. It's something like that. Now let's do, you have to repeat, you have to do it again. Yes, it has been opened in a separate tab, and we have our, yes, this is whenever you want to create an external link, social medias and something like that. So we will make use of this. Then how about if I am interested to link this with my GitHub? So I go to my GitHub, I click it here, and I have to go to the main, because this is just the main GitHub. And then I will link it to my GitHub by changing the link. Okay, guys, have you ever sent any link to a friend via Messenger or Telegram or something? Yeah, so you're familiar with the link. So actually, this A tag, whenever we give it the link, it will give us the power to have this clickable button. So let's now change this to, what's the information we have here? My GitHub account, right? So I call it GitHub. So it should be GitHub. Then actually this is not a very good place to put it. So I have to take it to where? The footer, if you remember. I think it's a very good thing to organize them in a div, and then I can just put it here. Now, as you can see, I have a GitHub. How about if I want to have a Twitter or LinkedIn? Copy and just change this to LinkedIn, and we go to the LinkedIn. Now, this person. So now we're just developing something for this person. So you click and we change the, now for the time being, we have at least his GitHub and his LinkedIn. Yeah, now maybe it's also good to add a Twitter, and that will be the end for, yes, then you need this. I didn't copy the code. First, let's copy also the code. And then we add this link to here. By now, we have to change this to Twitter and see how it looks like. As you have GitHub, LinkedIn, Twitter. Guys, I think if you managed to follow me up to here, you managed to make this. Let's have a 15 minutes break and we will continue later. Yeah, great.
Could you leave the code on the screen so that
yes,
where we got lost we could follow?
Yes, yes.
I think from the beginning or something, if you can.
Welcome back. I hope you got something in the first session. I think before we start adding additional information, let's just recap what we had. This revision, actually, it's not any more revision because it has a lot of things, and maybe I think even I have to just copy some of the part and put it in a different index.html file, and then it will be good. And I have to stop the server port because this means the revision. I have to stop it and run this one. I have to select it again and click this. Now we are working on the index HTML file. because it's better to do that. What are we going to do now? Because as you can see, the HTML part, the introduction part, the CSS part, and the JavaScript part is a bit match already, so we need something to scroll. Yeah. So let's change this to a link. How do we change this to a link? Who can tell me? Then we can go inside here and write a link. A tag, maybe a href, and then a. Then I can put this here. Now it looks like a link. Where do I want to go when this is clicked? Where's our plan to go when we click this one? Do you have a plan to go out from this website? No. The plan is actually to go to here. And when we click CSS, we want to come here. When the JavaScript is clicked, we come to here. So for the time being, let's just put it hash for the time being and leave it like that. Let's also make this just next to each other. Or you can also keep it like that anyway. Yeah, then you can do the same by, I can remove this, a href date link. We call this date link. That means it doesn't go anywhere. CSS. What's the date link, guys?
It doesn't open a window or something.
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't open. It doesn't go anywhere. It just,
okay.
Yeah, for the, if you put just a hash, it sounds like a link which goes somewhere, but it doesn't go anywhere because just it's a hash. So that's why it's date. And then let's make it just JavaScript and a. Great. So what do we call this? Oh, guys.
Right.
Yeah, href, but what's the name this?
Attributes.
Yes, attributes. You remember we have this href attributes, and this is also attributes. So in the opening tag of HTML, we can write many attributes. So you have to imagine that there will be lots of attributes, and we defined that attribute is there to give extra information about that specific HTML element, right? Yeah, so it's an addition. It's just, it provides you information. For instance, okay, we have here a link, yeah? That links, that anchor tag, it goes to this link, this resource. How does it open? It opens in a separate tab, so it gives us. Then there is also this ID. ID is actually a kind of identification for HTML element. So we can give ID for HTML element. Guys, do you have ID? Yeah, you have an ID, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you have names too. Yeah, the problem of name, for instance, names could be repeated, like it can be repeated. So the name of this HTML element is H1, so it has a tag name, but we have to also call it, maybe we can call it ID title, but you know, we gave it a specific attribute that this H1 can be identified. Yeah. So for instance, I can see some names here, Brooker, and I can see Olga. If you just imagine Olga, there might be lots of Olgas or Sarah, but they have unique social security or a number or some ID that can be used only for them to be identified in some systems. Yeah. Okay, so ID. So we can't repeat ID in an HTML document. So if you give ID title, so it will be used only here. Yeah, because we agreed that it is a means to identify something, so it should be used only one and it should be unique. So how about this part? This part is actually talk about HTML, so we can call it this HTML. Okay, how about this section? This section talks about CSS. Then let's call this part, this box, this div CSS, and let's call this one ID. What do you give? What name do you give for this? Because you should have some kind of pattern, guys. Yeah.
Java.
Yes, JavaScript or JS. Great. Now, actually, if you use this hash and HTML, I am referring to which one? This ID. If you, so let's click on here. Have you seen? It takes me this part. Have you seen it? Yeah, so how? Instead of a link, what did we give it? The ID here. And then if you want to link the CSS, we have this CSS ID where? Here. And to link the JavaScript, we give JS ID where? Here. Now, if we click, for instance, when you click here, it takes you to here. And to the what? Let me click here. Yeah, it takes me here, but here, oh, I think it's not moving, so let's check it. Seems it doesn't move much. ID.js, ID CSS, href. It should be right. Yeah, good. Maybe I think it's visible. Okay. Visible enough. Okay, to see that, we have to have more content for CSS, and maybe we have to have more content for the HTML. And after it's covered, you will see how it works. Okay, let's go. P additional, no. P lorem Epsom. Yeah, because it's changing to Django, that's why it's not. Don't follow this one because for you it's okay. Now let me write lorem and times 5. Yeah, now I have, as you can see, it's almost covered. It's taking me there. Yep, have you seen? It's taking it up. And now, as you can see now, the CSS, the JavaScript is covered. If you click here, it brings for you to the top. Yeah. So we use this hash followed by the ID name. This is, by the way, this you can call it any. For instance, section, first section, or introduction. This is the introduction part, or maybe introduction to HTML. If you give this kind of ID, you should also put this where? Here. Something like this. Does it still work? Let's check. Of course, it should. Yeah. Oh, I have to give you some time. Did you understand how I link that?
Can
And
you repeat that?
hmm?
Can you repeat that, the last part?
Oh, okay. So first we have to give ID for all the boxes, for all the sections. Have you seen? How many sections do we have? This
Yeah, 3.
section, and this section. As you can see, when the content is growing, it's really hard to scroll up and down, right? Yeah. So we need something to scroll up. Now, for instance, I can create some icon here to scroll up. Okay, I have to go down. Maybe here I can create another div, and I call this div, and I can just add a tag and maybe top, and I call this also top because I want it to go to up when it's clicked. So when you click this, I want you to go to up. But now it's just going by itself, not really like I configured it or connect it. No, it's just, so we have to have this top ID somewhere. For instance, we can put this div, the header part, we can give it ID top. Yep, now after that, if you click here, it take it to the top. Have you seen? And now, if you want to also go all the way down, you should have some kind of to the bottom, some click somewhere. Okay, to the bottom, I can have some here, a link to bottom. I call it bottom or down. You can call it. Go to down. If you click now, it doesn't go anywhere, right? But let's connect it to somewhere. Maybe I can even connect it to here, because the ID to down. Okay, let's see. What's wrong with that? ID down. Oh, sorry guys, because these words are so synonym that I confused them. So we bottom, I think maybe just let's call it also this down. Down, and now I can, is it down or something? Yeah, down. So if you click this, it should go down. It's taking to the top. From the top, you should have down, so it takes you to the bottom. From bottom, you have this, and it take you to the up. Do you get the idea, guys?
Yes.
Any question? Do you have any question, guys? Before we move on. Okay, now let's talk about section. Because as you can see, these guys, we have section. Have you seen this? The HTML section, the CSS section, the introduction section. Even the website I showed you before, this one even has, if you remember, that introduction, front-end section, back-end section, databases, tools, front-end technologies with a picture. And maybe somewhere even in the projects, if you see some, okay, introduction to, it's just even a podcast, something related to audios and videos and some tables. So at the end of the day, we built this, yeah, step by step. Then now I want you to, I think where's ours? This is ours anyway. for the time being. So sometimes instead of div, you may use section because we have this section. Yeah, you may use like Y section, and usually it was with article. Inside the article, you write the text. For instance, I can take this part, this text, and put it there in the article and put it here. And do I need this? Yeah, I need this part, the ID, and it's going to be part of, maybe it's better to put it inside the here. And the title, where am I going to put the title? Inside the section. So now, instead of that, actually, I change it to a section. So this section lasts up to here. And then we don't need this div. Yeah, so that means we can change this to section. The point is we can change this to a section, and it's better to put also the ID to the main section instead. And then we can change this to article. The other remain the same, article, and then this is going to be section. Yep, we can do the same. Tell me. So this is going to be the section of the JavaScript, and this is going to be article. But we chose to put the ID to the section instead of the article. And again, you tell me that we change this to article, and the outside is the section. And you can keep it this as the div or section, it doesn't really matter. So, but to tell you that we have also this section. Most developers, even experienced developers, they don't care about section. They just keep using div. It doesn't have that much of a big difference. And this section thing came recently. Yeah. So there is no much difference between section and div. But div can be used anywhere. It doesn't have any semantic meaning. But section, you only use it whenever you have such kind of categories. For instance, I can see that this has some kind of hierarchical section, education section, sports section, science section. You can also do the same with div. No much difference. Yeah. So I'm just telling you that there. But yeah, now let's move on to images. How about images? But I think even before images, it's better if we talk about more in what is this, attributes. Yep. So what's the color of web development? So let's change the color of the web development to red. We have never talked about color, right? Yeah, color could be red, it could be green. So let's do this. We have this attribute style equal to, and then actually we have property, color, and then the value, what? Red. And then you need this semi-colon. Have you seen? We changed it. And if we want to increase the font size, we can use font size, and then we can give the value, usually in pixel. For instance, 60 pixel, it will be really big. Yeah. I used red color because it's easy to use right away, but let's just change it to some color, maybe some kind of a green color. for the time being. Yes. Now maybe if we are interested to change the background of the header. Okay, again, style, and then background, purple, and this. Oh yeah, so easy, right? We just change it that.
It is cool.
Yeah, so then actually have you seen there's no space? The web development, the title is so suffocated there. So let's give it some space. We call it padding. Padding is actually a space between the top, the right and the left. And let's give it padding, and I can give it 10 pixels in all the 4 directions. Have you seen? Now it gets some space. It gets. But we will talk about that later properly. How do we write this? And what does that padding means? Yeah, padding actually, then I think that padding might be a bit, okay, now I think it's better to talk about that. Anyway, it's better CSS box model. Yeah, this very, oh yeah, I got this. Okay, do you see some text saying that CSS box model property? This is something you should understand. And this is something you use every day if you become a web developer. They made this complicated, so I will skip it, but maybe this is somehow easy. Whenever we write an HTML, it's like a box. Really? Why? I will show you practically at the same time with the image, okay? Please don't do that. The other side is much better for me. And where was the, please be in this side. Good. Okay. Now let's remove most of the colors. For instance, I can remove these colors because it is confusing and it will be hard. And we will only focus on this color, okay? On the head, on the title. So let's even, we don't care about also this color. And yes, but I want to give it a border. The border, I give it 1 pixel, and the type, there are different kind of border. It could be solid or broken. I call it solid. And for the time being, I call it red, and you will see it. Okay, that is every CSS, every HTML is like a box like this. Now we saw that it's like a box, yeah? So in the box, we have element inside, and there's a border. Now we have what? Red border, right? There is red border, and there is a space after the border, right? There's white space, and there's white space, and there's white space after the border, and we call it margin. Yeah, margin. Okay, so what is this margin? Is actually the external area. For instance, the margin of this green, this green box, the margin is this area is the margin, this is the white area. And the padding for this, the geeks for geeks, this is the padding, In our case, which one is the padding, guys? Show me. The area between the text and the border. So it's really hard to see it. For instance, here, there is no almost padding because W touches the left border. Have you seen it? So, but here there is much right margin, padding. Okay, then we can give, I can show you padding, right, and I can give it 25 pixel, and then maybe I made a mistake. Left, left. I usually make a mistake, left and right, left. Have you seen now? Yeah, it feels good, right? It gets some space, yeah? So padding is actually the space between the content and the border. But how large is the padding, the top padding and the bottom padding? Do you think is it big? It's very small, right? Have you seen? It's very small. Let's make that also bigger. Padding top. We can give it 25 pixel. Oh yeah, now as you can see, we are creating some space. Yeah, but we give some padding for the top, but we didn't give padding for the bottom. Why are we doing that? We should do something somehow the same. Padding bottom, and again 25 pixel. Now it feels good. But instead of writing all this left and right, actually we can remove the direction and we can just use padding 25 pixel. That means we are giving it to all the directions. Yeah, it looks good. Did you understand the meaning of padding?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Do you understand the meaning of margin? Margin is this area. For instance, this is really so close. So if you want this to be a bit down, what you should do actually, you can come here and margin top, and you can give it 50 pixel and it will be a bit down. Huh? What did we do? Yeah, it's already, have you seen it? Yeah, there is. Just to see, let's just give it, yeah, now it's getting down. So margin means we are giving some space from the bottom. So we are adding extra space in the top side. If you want it to be in all direction, just put it like this. Now, as you can see, we are having in all the 4 direction, that is top, right, bottom, and left. But this is too big, so let's just give it 50 or 30 usually is a good size. Even I think 30 is good. Yeah. Now we saw border. You know what a border is, and you know what a margin is, and you know what a padding is. So maybe I have to show you again this image. So the content here, and this is the padding, the padding, the padding, the padding, border, the green area, and the margin outside the border, the white area, that is the margin. So the external area. So this is very important, and we call it CSS box model. You may go to an interview for a web development position. Hey, can you explain to me what CSS box model is? So that means they are asking you what is a padding, what's a border, what is a margin is exactly. So you have to explain that properly, because CSS is all about CSS box model. Okay, great. But you will adapt that through process. Let's just get back to. I think this is it. The one we are working on. That looks. Yeah, great. So if you add also background, you may add background. Background color, maybe you can say it green, maybe purple for the time being. I don't know how to write purple. Purple, yes. Now we have some purple, and because of the border makes it ugly. So let's remove the border now. Yeah, yes. Okay, great. And maybe it's better to change the color now. Color, and I can change it to green. Yeah, but I think you guys, you may not have these colors. You can't see the colors, right? So I may follow me how to get this, because even though you are writing the color, you don't see the colors. So let's write it here. Let's use some extension. Color picker, I think, color picker. Maybe this one helps you to see the color pickers. Yeah, I think this one. So maybe you have and install it. And if you manage to achieve, let me know. Tell me now if you manage to see these colors. Install this color picker and go to here, and then it should show you this kind of a selection. I'm waiting for you. Did you manage to achieve? Come to here, right, color picker, and then install this. In my case, it is now. Yeah, you can install it and then close. Then you should see, yeah, something like this. Now, for instance, I can select a color I want the most. Yeah, I can go for that color. And maybe if I want this, yes. Did you get the color selector, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, great. And now maybe if you want to increase the font, you may use some kind of font size, font size, and then I can see 60 pixel, and yeah, something like this. Great. Yeah, but now, as you have seen, we are actually working on the title we gave this property. It would have been much better if we use this style inside actually the header here, yeah? Because we make the header like that instead of the, so I can cut this, I have removed it, and instead I can put it here. And it would be, that's crazy, because have you seen, we destroyed it. So we need, in this case, we don't need actually this much of a margin, and we don't need much of a padding also. Yeah. Yes, but the problem now is because of the font size. The font makes everything bigger. So we can specifically apply the font where? We can use the font for here, style, and then put it here, only for that. And even still, actually the padding, we should have the padding inside. So 25 pixel, not bad, but it's okay. The colors, the other colors, it's really hard to see. We will figure out, but maybe for the time being, we can choose something lighter, or some kind of a color. Yeah, and also just the color is also, maybe we can go for a white or something like then. Yes, good. Are you following, guys, or am I just enjoying myself? Let me know.
Yeah, a bit following.
Following?
Following? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. If you are following, type 1 for me, and it's just activation. I want to activate you every, yeah, type 1 for me, then that means you are following. Okay, okay. People who didn't sleep are typing 1. Great. Now let's talk about class. But even before we go to class, is it the only way we write style? We call this inline styling, guys. Inline styling. We can actually write style like this. Style. Inside the head, you go to the head and style and header, so you don't have to write it here. You just copy what you have and you remove this and select the header. This header, this is how we select it. Hey, header, and then you need a curly bracket. I want you to have this. Yeah, have you seen? This is even much smarter, right? Yeah, I want you to have a color, this color white, and the padding 25 pixel. Yes. And if we are interested to make H1, for instance, H1 we have here, right? Some font size, let me remove it here. We have H1. I can select H1. And what color do you want your H1 to be, guys? Tell me. Maybe red. Let's put it red. Oh no, but the problem is now, have you seen the problem, guys? We just select everything. Every H1 became red. So in this case, if you want it to be like that, yeah, you can do that. But you may, if you are interested, for instance, this one, you should give it an ID and you can call it title. And instead of selecting by H1, you can call it by ID. You need hash followed by the name of the ID title. Now it's only the, why is that? Yeah, this is just by mistake, so we don't need that.
Sorry, how did you get the curly bracket?
Curly bracket in Finnish keyboard. I think, let me check. Alt in Finnish keyboard. Yes, Alt. Let's try H1. Then Alt and number 8. No, number 9. Oh. Okay, now I'm almost there. Almost there. Oh, kill me. A Finnish keyboard is killing me. Okay.
Maybe it could be Alt gear.
Alt. Yeah, that one. Yes, Alt GR and yeah, and 7. Alt GR and 7. Did you get it?
Wait, can you repeat?
I can write it here.
Yeah.
L.
Is it the same on Mac?
It could be different, but for Finnish keyboard, it could be the same. Alt jar plus 7 at the top.
Okay, thank you. I will try it.
But I'm a bit slow with Finnish keyboard, so I have to change it. Yeah, so this is how you select. Tell me if you want to change all the paragraphs to some color. Tell me, how do I select it? Yeah, P followed by the curly bracket and the color, for instance, green. Let's just make green every paragraph, yeah? Because this is a paragraph and this is a paragraph and this paragraph. Okay, maybe if we are interested to have you see, if you remember the article, there's article everywhere. So if I'm interested to change the background of the article, background, some kind of blue. Yeah, but that's scary, I tell you. And the background and the color, maybe white. The color white, because this one override, this is more specific. I have to remove that. Yeah. So this is how we select, but our color choice is so horrible. Let's just change it a bit. It's okay. So you can also change the font size somehow to about 18 pixel. The default is actually, yeah, and you need to have also padding, as I told you, padding every direction about maybe 20 pixel. It makes it looks good. Yeah, now it's getting better, right? And maybe you need also line height. Line height, if you give it 150%, that means about 1.5 in word, if you remember. So it's getting better, right? The more CSS you apply, it starts getting better and getting better. Maybe you want to also, have you seen this sharp? Maybe border radius, 5 pixel, 5 pixel. Have you seen now? It's not anymore. Yeah, so it's not anymore sharp edge. It has now some kind of a circular edge. Yeah, but now how about if we apply some background for the section? Okay, background, I can say background color and maybe like yellow, but I will just select from yellows some kind of, yeah, something like this. And now, as you can see, the section is actually the parent for the article. And if we make some padding for this one, there will be space. Padding 50 pixels from all direction. Now you will see, yeah, have you seen it now? So here is like but now actually we can also divide. I can add margin to all the sections. For instance, 20 pixel. If I give, then there will be a break. Yeah, this is actually that one section, another section. So now you have seen the importance of making article. The article is the purplish part, and the section is everything here. The orange is the section. The section contains article. Yeah. Do you get the point now, guys? With some kind of the color helper?
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you call these CSS programming.
Hmm?
Did
What-
you say this was CSS? Or
Yes.
is this, yeah.
Yeah, now we are touching this part, because if we just learn only the HTML, it's really hard to teach HTML without the help of CSS. Now we are slowly getting it to also CSS.
Okay.
Yeah, because now, as you can see, we are selecting, we select the header and we give white color, and then we give it a padding. We understand padding means some space, then background. So if you see this background, so if you are talking about font family, color, padding, margin, that's CSS. Yeah. Okay, so now I want to, do you understand what a title is, what an ID is, guys, now?
Yes.
How about if we talk about also class? Okay, let's let's create some section here. And in this section, I want to make boxes, and I called it, okay, a div, and I want to name class and box, div, and the class books. 3 is enough. Div and the class box. How many boxes do we have, guys, now?
3.
Yes, there are 3. Do you think we can see them here? Actually, yeah, there is this background. If you see 1, if you put 1, if you put 2, if you put 3, you see them. But why? I have a question for you guys. Why this number aligned vertically top to down instead of horizontally? Why they didn't align themselves like this instead of vertical?
Because of class.
No. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Isa?
I could guess, is it because of the section?
No, because the section is outside, but you can take them out, and we can just put them outside, and still they are 1, 2, 3. And even let's just keep them outside from the section, and let's just work on that. Okay, maybe how about if I use, do you know span element, span 1, span 2, span 3. Yeah, but these guys, the elements that the values inside the span, they arrange themselves horizontally. The div arranges vertically. Why? And even if you see also, the links are also horizontally. And these links are actually vertical. Why? Sometimes it goes horizontal and sometimes vertical. That's confusing, right? Oh yeah, we have to make clear what makes that. Okay, there is the so-called, I will, by the way, in HTML, we write comment. This is how we write comment. Have you seen? That means anything we write here will not display on the website. So this comment is actually a remark for the coders, or to leave some note for yourself, okay? So let's write here. There is 2 types of elements. 1, we call them block elements. and the other are actually inline elements, or I think it's better, non-blocking elements. Okay, so based on this, which are blocking and which are non-blocking element? Yes, these are non-blocking elements, because they allow other elements to come next to them. But these guys are so greedy, they don't allow other elements to come next to them. Maybe I think you can take the same example for the Finnish bass. You don't go just sit next to someone if there's a space, right? It's very impolite in a Finnish bass, yeah? So it's somehow similar to blocking elements. But in some culture, it doesn't matter. If there is space or not, you just go and sit next to someone and keep talking with random person. Yeah, so that's like non-blocking elements. Did you get the point here? Everybody is just quiet. Okay, or maybe I can also show you with style, okay? How do we select the span? And let's just give them border and 2 pixel solid and green. Have you seen? They are green. They take as much space they want, and they allow other elements to come next to them. Yeah. How about the div? Let's select the div. We can select like this and border, just to make it different, 2 pixel solid red. White up to down white. There another div. Let's see something wrong because maybe we didn't close some of the divs. Div, it's closed. But why? Where is it coming? Yeah, we can comment this out for the time being. Yes, have you seen from 1 to 3? Those are blocking elements. They took all the space. If they need it or not, they don't care. They just took all the space, those blocking elements. Yes. But the non-blocking elements, they just come next to each other.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you define that something is a block element?
How do you define?
Yeah, when you write, I mean, when you program, what is it that defines it's a block element?
But it's just by default, it's like that. You don't define anything, but you can change its original property the way you want it. For instance, now this is a block element. No, non-blocking element. So sometimes we may want to change its original or default property, and maybe we want it to act like a block element, and we can fix that. We can change it. But now what I want you to understand, only there are elements that block and there are elements that are non-blocking. We will come to that later. But this property is just by default, okay? And you can change their default property using CSS. Okay, how, you may say. Yeah, let's see why we keep it for so long. We can change it now. Let me show you. Hey, display block. And now, have you seen now? The span is changed to block. That means we are changing its original or default property to a blocking element. But originally, by default, it was a non-blocking element. Have you noticed now? Yeah, have you noticed, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now the div is by default, what is it? It is a blocking element. Let's change it to display inline block. Oh yeah, great. So that means we have the full power to control it, or change the default to something else, something we want. Yeah, that's the point. And now we don't need this span, but I am interested in the divs. So let's skip them, and let's turn this on again by removing the comment, and let's destroy that. How many boxes do we have, guys?
3.
Yes. Why this top come and sit next to the other divs, the boxes? Have you seen that, guys? Why? Because you guys asked me to change the div property. Now all the divs I have is inline. So that means block element, inline block. So it allows. So I have to remove that. Where? Here. So I have to remove this part, and then it will stay normal. Yep. Okay, great. Even now, I don't want to select top. It has a div also. Instead, I want to select them by class. And what was the class of the box? The boxes? Who can tell me the class name of the boxes? Boxes. We call them boxes. I think we call them more box, I think. Yeah? Yeah, we called them box. Now, and whenever you select by class, you need a dot. Whenever you select by ID, you need a hash. Okay, so this is a box, but why I'm calling this a box? Does it have a weeds? No, it doesn't have a weeds. Let's add weeds for our box. Weeds. But now, when you give width, for instance, I want to have 150 pixel. Yeah, great. How about height? Then maybe 250 pixel again. Yeah, how many boxes do you have now? Again, 3, but do you want them to touch each other? So let's have some space. Margin, at least the margin bottom. We can give them like 5 pixel. Yeah, there is some space. Do you want this text as small as this? No. Font size, maybe 50 pixel, because I want it to be really big. Yeah, don't you want it to be to the center? You want it to be the center, right? Oh, you are saying push it. Yes, text align and center, because you can't tolerate with the just very okay. So now you want it to be the middle. I know. Let's just push it. Okay, actually the best way to put it at the center, what is the height? If you give the line height the same as the height, it will be at the center. Line height should be the same as this, the height itself, for some reason, and it fixed for you. Yeah, it seems actually at the center now. Maybe if you want this really to be really big, 90 pixel, and it looks like kind of a card. Yeah. Now, as I told you, it is up to you to align this vertically or horizontally. This is the default, but if I want it to be horizontal display, inline block, please give space for others. Yep. because you know that you are a web development, so you may need, your customer may want, sometimes, no, I want it vertical. Sometimes they say, no, horizontal. They change their mind 100 times, and you should change it also maybe a couple of times to make your client happier. Okay, so yeah. And again, if we want to have, maybe you don't like a sharp edge, right? A sharp, so border radius, and the border radius means like this, the border, if you give it 5 pixel, for instance, yeah, it has some smooth ending. Maybe let's give it 25. Oh, this is getting bigger. Okay, but how about if we just keep getting like 50 pixel? What? It's almost getting like a circle. Then maybe I think a very good way to change a box to a circle, you can give it 50%. If you give it 50%, actually you are creating it to a circle. Now I want to ask you, I want this to be a green, I want this to be yellow, and I want this to be red. How do I make it?
Do you have to press box and then put the number 1 and then do it, and then each one different separately?
Okay, let's go down. Yeah, I have the box. So now we are talking about individuality, right? So whenever we talk about something, individuality refers to ID, right? So we have to create like box 1. So it's going to be like an ID box 2, because this, the box thing refers to for all of them. So if we change 1, it changes for all of them. So we have to have an ID. So what is the ID for this box? Tell me.
Box 3.
Great. Then we go and select by ID. Then we go here, hash box 1, background green. Yep. And then maybe if just that green is not a very good kind of green, maybe a bit light green. Yes. And then let's go for box 2 and background yellow. And then this, yes, something light. And we don't need any more of this border because it destroys the joy. Okay, now let's just give box 3 and background again red, and then we will keep selecting that's too red, it's like a blood. So let's just make it a bit, oh yeah, that's good. Does it look like a circle? Yes, indeed. So now you're writing in CSS already. Yeah, so what you learned actually, class. Whenever you want to apply a common property, you use class. Class you give for multiple things. For instance, we gave it, what is the same thing that makes these guys, the same is actually is their shape, right? All of them are circle. So we gave this property for all of them. But what makes them different? Their background. So we give their background to their ID. Yeah. For instance, it's like that. I can talk to you in a group, and then also I can talk to you also privately. It's almost like that for a personal advice. There is something I can give for everyone, and there is something for a private. So ID is for a single, and the class is for a common. Did you get it?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, now I think you should have a 5 minutes break because we have still some time, so you will have a kind of a time to relax. Yeah, so far we managed to see some CSS elements, and we apply also HTML elements, and we also apply CSS. And now let's add some image. We didn't use image so far, but image is actually one of the integral part of a website. Yeah. So I prepared image already because it's very important, and I don't like to like go all over the internet to search for image. So I prepare some images already. So I copy this image. I can share with you, by the way. You can make use of that. I am sharing with you. At least we need this. Yes, you have it. And where's the CSS? Yes, maybe you should really keep them because we will just work on those images. And maybe, I don't know, but at least you have some of them already, right? Yeah, great. Maybe I can also share with you some audio materials in case, yeah, audio, another audio. Oh, that's good. And then we may have also the video. We have one video. I think I can still share the video. Great. Everything is shared with you now. I want to first copy this file. I can copy everything, but for you it will be very confusing. So I just copy only this image, copy, and take it to where? This is our file. And then I will take it to WEEK-2 and just paste it here. Yeah, let's see. Now, if you open this one, you may see the image now. Yeah, because it is our image. The name of the image is just html.png. So how do we connect an image? So here inside articles, maybe I can put it here. You can put it anywhere. You need image, and then you close it something like this. Yeah, I told you that to create an HTML element, you should do something like this, right? The opening and the closing. Do you remember? Yeah, now we're about to break that rule. Not all the time. Sometimes we can also close it like this. Self-closing tag. We call it self-closing elements. They don't need a closing tag, just they do it like this. And it has an attribute, source. So the source is actually where the image is. Actually, it's just here. You can call it html.png. And then if you go down, yeah, now it's part of, yes, great. Now, if we want, but you have to also add another attribute, alt. Don't forget this. What does it look like? What do you want a screen reader to call this? For a blind people? If you're reading for a blind people, what are you telling for the blind people when you reach here after the text? Yeah, you may say there is an HTML logo, right? Yeah, because blind people, there should be a screen reader or there should be a person who is reading that text for them. So alt is actually alternative information, so we can call it HTML logo. So this will be helpful for blind people, so please add this. It works without that, but yeah, it's very good. Now let's also add another. Maybe I can copy this and this together, copy and put it here. Great. Then I have to go to the CSS part, and inside here, image src, and I can close it like this. So what's the name? I don't remember the name. Let's see it. CSS logo.png. Okay. CSS underscore logo.png. Yep, we have it here. Okay, we can also add for the JavaScript and image src, and what was the name? I think JavaScript logo or something. JS logo.png. Yeah, JS logo.png. Yeah, but I forgot to add alternative JavaScript logo or logo of JavaScript, and I have to add for the other ones. Where is it? Alt CSS logo. Yeah, now we have it. Our website is like, look like somehow kind of a blog. Yeah, kind of, not yet, but it's growing. So it's so easy to add image, right? Okay, but let's structure our information a bit. So as you can see, our image, our file is everywhere. Let's create a folder and we call it assets. Assets are like static assets, like this image, and we take it there. And we take it there. And we take it there. So I'm just moving it to a different folder. Have you seen it? And inside this folder, I want to make other folder images. And then all the images goes to in the image folder. Great. Yeah, now it's structured, right? But as you can see, our website crashed. No HTML logo. Have you seen some website, something like this? Does it happen when there's a network, when there's no internet connection, or all of a sudden? Have you noticed something like this?
Yeah.
Yes. So at least, as you can see, they have this the screen reader, the alternative takers that allow accessibility or allow screen readers to be read, is also a good thing when there is no image. So let's fix the path. So now the path is actually in different path. So first we have to go to the asset and then to the image, and then we pick the image. Yeah, so dot, that means in this directory, and then I have to go to the assets, and then I have to go to the image. Yeah, the structure should be something like that. And then again, dot slash, dot means from here, go to assets, and then go to image, and then pick the image. Yes, great. Then let's go the other image and let's fix from here. Dot slash means from here, go to assets, and go to image and then pick the, yep, now we have everything. Okay. If this is clear for you guys, we have 15 minutes, and with 50 minutes, we will see audio and video, and that will be the end of the lesson. Yes, great. Okay, do we have those data? Let me take you to there. So as you can see now, I have already organized them, audios and videos. So I can just copy and take instead of like taking them one by one. Now you got the idea, the structuring of the information. So I'm copying it, copy, not all at once, but at least two of them. And then I have to go to my here, where assets. Inside the assets, I can just paste it. So now as you can see, I have the image, the videos, and the audios. Now let's close and see it from here. What does it look like? Yeah, that's very good. Well structured. Inside the assets, you have audios, you have images, you have videos. All the images, we rendered them already. What are we left with? Now it's audio. Don't you like a podcast to listen to or a podcast to make? Yes, let's go here and let's create a section, and that section will be actually, I call that section, I am about to create this section, and I call it H1, and I call it podcasts. Oh yeah, and then I will put an article maybe, an article and or div, and then my podcast will be here. Okay. Then actually there is audio tag, audio tag. Yeah, this is how you write the audio tag. But there's nothing here, so we have to give their source. src, like in image dot assets, audios, and the first audio. Yep. And it should show up somewhere. Why? It didn't show up. Okay, maybe because of the control. Then controls. Yep, now the audio showed up. So as you can see, you have to have this the audio tag, and then the link to the audio, and then this controls allows you or gives you this like how to increase, to turn it off, or to download it actually, and also to play it. Oh, this test recording to embed this audio on HTML, and it's going to be the first audio. Yeah, that's the first audio or the first podcast you have ever recorded to teach HTML. Great. Yes. Now let's also add the second, but now we don't have any information. Maybe we can now add some kind of a div, inside here, and like categorize them. And we can just say H2, we can say podcast 1. Yeah, as you can see, podcast 1. And it's all about maybe what's the title of the podcast 1. Let's talk about how to embed audio using HTML. I hope you will be excited to listen to this. Then, oh yeah, this is a very exciting title, and you are interested to do, then you listen to this podcast for some time. Yeah, then let's just repeat this again by copy and paste. And then what we change is actually this one, because we have two. And then, hello, this is going to be the second audio, and it will be embedded on HTML using the audio HTML tag. So this is just a demo to show students how to embed audio files on HTML. As you can see, it's so easy to embed. What you need is just the audio tag and the source. And using this, you can create your own podcast. Great. Now let's change podcast 2. And okay, you may change this also, whatever the title. Yeah. What is the next? How to embed. Yeah, now let's do section. That's how to embed a video section. And with H1, the video. See your tutorials to teach HTML or whatsoever, but you want to have here a video. So it's easy also a video. What we need actually, a video tag and the source. What is the source? Assets and videos and JavaScript project. And again, it need, we have already, have you seen that? It's a very big video, yeah? But there's nothing to play, that you can't play it. There is no button because we need these controls. Again, let's see. Now you can see when you add the controls, it's so easy, and you can see you can play it. Hello. No, no one is going to listen to you all over again. Okay, yeah. So yeah, but if you see, the audio seems really too big and it's like overflow. As you can see, no, this is not a kind of layout you need. For the time being, let's give it some widths. Yeah, we can give it like widths in line widths here, and 80% of the view, and I think this is really good. Hello. Yeah, if 80% is not something you like, at least we can just make it 100%, and it will never go out from the box, because it's 100%. It just fit to the box at least. And let's see. And yeah, as you can see, it's inside, but it will never go beyond the box, and it's in a full width. You will enjoy watching whatever someone posted there. I think we did quite a lot based on our schedule. Let's see what we have covered, because sometimes it's good to also cover what we, yes. Wow, that's amazing. Yes. So what did we learn today? Yeah, we have talked about what's HTML, and by now you should be able to explain what HTML is, what's the purpose of HTML, and then what is HTML element, an opening tag, a closing tag, and then also it's not only that, actually what is at the top of HTML element. As you can see, we have this, the declaration, this the less than sign followed by exclamation, doc type, and then HTML. We call this declaration. It tells the browser that this document is actually an HTML document. And in every HTML document, we have one root element or one parent element. What is that? I have to make it louder because I have to hear it from everyone. Oh, but everybody's quiet. HTML, we need one root element or one parent element, and that is the HTML. As you can see, everything is wrapped inside the HTML, and HTML has two children. What are those? You see them, the head and the body. And the head, at least it should have the title. We can have also the style later we wrote, and even we can have different font types and meta tags, something related to also search engine optimization. We will talk about that later, but for the time being, we have the title, and now we have some style, CSS style. What can we have in the body? Inside the body, actually, anything we see here is coming from the body of the HTML. And then again, if you see the body also, it has a kind of structure that, yeah, it has this distinct structure or maybe categories. This is like the header part, and this is the main part, and this is the footer part. That's awesome. It's so easy to look at, right? It's just 3 items, 3 categories. Yeah. Okay, in the header part, usually just a kind of a title and also some navigation. We put no much information, yeah? But in the main part, as you can see, we have different sections, section 1 and section 2, up to section 3, up different sections. And section can have, as you can see, the section title and the article. Inside the article, we can have a couple of divs, images, videos, audios, whatsoever, any kind of content you want. Yeah. Okay, then what else can I talk about? And in addition, actually, we also put inside the footer, we had also some external links, social links, because, you know, we want to get connected with also the outside world using the social media links, and we have to have some contact at the bottom. I think this is good enough for today. And the next week also, we will add some more HTML elements and CSS. What I would recommend, this 30 days of HTML has something actually very important to revise, and I strongly recommend you, I have to share with you now, just try to read it. There's some exercise. What is web development? What is front end? What is a server? What is HTTP? Something we have been talking about last week and today. So go and just try to check it out. Yeah. Another, you may also try W3 School is also good, easy to read and easy to follow. Just step by step, you may go down all the way. Yeah, and it's really good. Then when you finish, I can show you next. Yeah, it takes you to here, next, next. So easy to use, but I think let me make it to home and share with you again. Yeah, I think this is good enough. And let's evaluate your learning today. And before that, do you have any question?
Will you put the entire, not the video exactly? What I don't know if it is a screenshot or so, of everything there,
Like that.
so that we can follow, and though we followed, but for the revision purposes, if
The code, we have
exactly the codes, yeah.
Yeah, now I already pushed the code on GitHub, and it should be here. What we've been talking about today should be here. Let's see it. Okay, so you come to here. Yeah. So we have been talking week 2, and now the code is already here. So if you download, what you do is just you download everything and you just make use, and yeah, everything is here. You don't have to think about that. And this is all the code we've been writing. Yeah, so I have to give you the link. No worries. How do you download this? Yeah, I will show you downloading. So it's so easy. Have you seen this? Yeah. So you just download here. Or another way, you can use copy and you go to CMD, Git, CD desktop. I will talk about this one because we didn't learn yet the Git thing. So the easy way for you to do is just click download. Yeah. And then right click it run. What you will see this, what is this? I don't know. With this, you will see this without any problem, without any fix. Yeah. So now you have everything on GitHub. I think it's better to give these links also on the Telegram, because the Telegram is something that stay there and have great. And then also the recording will be on YouTube. Yeah, practice it, do it the same and reproduce it yourself. That's the best way to learn. Do you have any other question? Okay, then let me turn off the video, stop recording.